everybody, I'm Lauren.
I'm Emma.
And you're listening to the Oakview. Hi, Emma.
Lauren!
Emma!
I'm so happy to be back talking to you.
Obviously.
I talk to you every week, but I just feel like when we do this, I am just so focused and I get so excited and I get to be with my best friend and talk about things that are important to me every week.
Yeah, it makes it more focused and we give ourselves a time limit.
Yep, we are like set in stone.
You know, we kind of talk about what we're going to talk about beforehand, but it's fun to...
Yeah, we plan. We're planners. We're not like outrageously on the spot. Sometimes we're not, but you know.
We're getting better at this, I think.
I think we're being more comfortable because
we're learning a lot.
We've talked about some pretty heavy topics and some lighthearted topics, and I just have to say, wow, just wow.
How are you enjoying this so far?
I like it. I really like that there are people that we know who are enjoying it, and I hope that there are people that we don't know that are enjoying it. But I think what I get like the most joy out of is just sitting here, hanging out with you, talking about stuff that's important to me in my life, and then listening to the people who we do know go, wow, that was awesome. Or like, I can't wait to listen to the next one. So...
yeah, or give feedback.
Or give feedback. Yeah. Oh, we've been getting a lot of constructive feedback, which I really appreciate. I didn't realize how many of my friends are podcast listeners.
Yeah, me either.
Right? So, like, they are so in tune to, like, what is good and what is not good. And I think that's been really helping us stick to a nice schedule.
Yeah, so tell us what you want to hear and tell us what we can do better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think by documenting the two of us talking about things that revolve around you and me, but also we're going to start diving into those heavier topics about things that we are really interested in, you know,
and care about,
and we want to really talk about things that other people care about too, because like I need a perspective that's not just my own, you know.
Yeah, we did a lot of background. Now we'll kind of shift from talking so much about us to just general topics that are interesting.
Yeah, and Lauren and I have been discussing a lot about having some people on the podcast with really diverse backgrounds so we can hear about things just like how we talked about how we think our friends in different fields are fascinating. Other people that we know and don't know are also really fascinating.
Absolutely.
So Lauren, guess what today is?
What day is today?
Today we're going to wrap up our background and give our fans, LOL. We have fans.
Yeah, because we have so many fans.
We have so many fans. No, we're just going to talk about why Lauren and I are so interested in STEM. You know, we love science and art and architecture and engineering, and we're like, woohoo!
And why it's important.
Women! But like, now we're going to talk about where we started, right?
Yeah, I think I would like to kind of document that journey of what brought your interest to STEM and who influenced you to get to where you are now, because it is so important for young girls to be engaged, and we need more young girls and minorities in STEM fields to have a better future. Literally, there's statistics proving that.
Yeah.
Right? And so addressing how we got involved gives our perspective.
Yeah, and I think our perspective also encompasses probably things that not everybody knows about us. And I think I haven't prepared for this except for one detail. And so I don't really necessarily know what I'm going to remember as to why I wanted to do this. You know, there might be some new things I didn't realize that are important to me.
Do you have a preference on who goes first?
No. I think a question could be like, did you always know that you wanted to be a mechanical engineer?
LOL, no. Also, okay, you keep calling me a mechanical engineer, which is, it's true, it's fine.
Am I wrong? Are you not a mechanical engineer?
My degree is in manufacturing engineering.
OMG.
And but I don't mind it when you call me a mechanical engineer. I mean, they're similar and it doesn't like bother me.
No, it bothers me. Lauren, oh my gosh, I am so sorry.
No, it's hard for people to remember. It's not like a super common major. So you're not the only person who does that, which is fine.
Well, it's not fine because you should be known as a manufacturing engineer. I'm so sorry.
I'm very versatile. I wear a lot of hats.
I know you do. You're very good at being able to, you know, narrow down what's important to talk about in life and how you do things. But I need to say, I don't think I knew that there was a difference, and I should know better. I'm just saying.
You should have paid attention more.
I think
for
did.
like the last 8 years.
I want to. I'm not saying anything because that would be just not good.
We probably had it right at some point.
I'm sure I had it right. There's no way that I didn't have it right. I'm just so bummed out that I didn't have it right now. I'll
give you a little bit of a breakdown. I mean, there's lots of types.
Can you give me an umbrella understanding? Like, I understand.
Oh yeah, sure. So there's lots of types of engineering. This is like a super 101. Like, do not take notes or anything if you're listening.
Hilarious.
You can get better research anyway. Okay, engineering. There's a mechanical engineering that's kind of like the most general, the most diverse. That's like making drawings. Think about taking apart an engine. Those are like if you just don't really know what you want to focus on, mechanical engineer can kind of do it all. There's electrical engineering. That's what my husband is.
Wow.
That's dealing with electrical engineering, obviously.
My uncle is an electrical engineer.
Yeah. And there's different fields that you can go in with that. I am a manufacturing engineer, so that deals with, if you think about an assembly line or a manufacturing plant, it's how you build something from getting raw material in one door and then shipping a final product out the other door.
That's amazing.
And you want to do that most efficiently. You want to do it most cost effectively. You want to make it safe for your employees. And it's all about that process of how you're going to manufacture it, how you're going to make it. There's industrial engineering, which deals with more of like logistics. So kind of how you're procuring equipment, material, how you're planning your schedule of what to make, etc. There's lots of logistics involved with that. And, there's other types of engineering too. I'm obviously missing some, but that's a little bit of a rundown for you.
Yeah, I was going to say my brother-in-law is a chemical engineer, which I think is really interesting.
Yes, my best friend studied chemical engineering.
Well, all right now, people, y'all are smart.
And my mom is a chemical engineer. I probably should say that too.
So you were just kind of surrounded by
There's
engineers.
material science engineers. My brother's a material science engineer. Yeah, it's kind of funny. And I totally, it was a major surprise that I turned out to be an engineer. I'll tell you that.
What do you mean?
Well, we'll talk when we kind of get into it more. It definitely, growing up, nobody guessed that as the outcome.
I think about that a lot with my friends and the different fields that they're in. And I don't think I pinpointed a lot of them.
I now that I'm thinking about it too, I agree.
I didn't mean to assume, but I just some of my friends are just what they do now. I'm like, wow, okay, all right.
So a random question that I'll ask you. So we're talking about STEM. So if you don't know what STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So it's those 4 fields, and it kind of encompasses those technology, science, mathematic-based studies and career paths that people can choose. But I wanted to ask you, because recently, people are also talking about STEAM.
Yes.
Which is STEAM.
Heck yeah, man. Shout out to the A.
A for architecture, which is you.
A for arts, A for architecture, A for all the things that are creative.
So maybe we should start saying STEAM.
We can start saying STEAM. I like it because we definitely put STEAM in the things that we do at work. We like to encompass all. And I think STEAM is becoming more of a good conversation around why A is important too, because people forget that just because I'm in architecture doesn't mean I didn't take physics. I don't know my calculus and my algebra and my geometry. I know a lot of things that have to deal with building a building. And of course we just did it at the same time, sorry. But
and structures and all that. Yeah.
Structure, load bearing, all the things that take to build the building. So STEM is important to me because I never knew that young girls could be in a world where technology and science and working with your hands and having a say in what is created in technology could be for our future.
And it's feasible, right?
And it's feasible. And it's really simple to get involved when you know where to find the right resources and the tools.
And not only is it simple, it's necessary.
Oh, and we're going to talk about that later and in another episode too, because Lauren and I's passion about STEM for young girls is so essential to our future generations.
Absolutely.
Okay, but now about you and me.
Okay, so what made you interested in STEM? When were you architecture?
It's funny because I grew up knowing that I always wanted to be an artist. So Most of my early memories of school included being in art club, taking art classes. I remember I had an elective simply about different mediums of art in high school. But I had this weird conversation with my parents one day about what that meant for my future. And I learned about Picasso and Van Gogh and Monet and stuff revolving around when those particular people got the credit that they deserved. And it was after they died.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought to myself, I'm not seeking recognition in my lifetime, but I definitely don't want to miss out on a chance to be a part of something. And I didn't really think about that until probably early high school when I was like, I don't want to be known for anything or engage with anything when I die. And so art was like, okay, well, I'm really good at math. And I was really grateful that I was a part of math growing up in multiple ways, whether that was after school club for math, nerd, or I was a part of advanced math classes that I met a teacher that was like, hey, we have this elective where we do architectural engineering introduction. It has a combination of both. Why don't you try that? And that's when I was like, what? Architecture is art and math together? Who knew? Super
Right?
cool.
Perfect world.
Perfect world. So that was pretty much the startup, but I was all about art. I wanted to be a painter. I wanted to be a sculptor. I wanted to be, really, I don't even know the term right now because I'm not PC on the architecture or the artist style of me. But when I was a kid, I can remember drawing all the time, sketching all the time, creating things with my hands. Most of my gifts I gave people were things I made. I played with Lincoln Logs and Legos, the typical response. So I don't know. I just kind of always knew I wanted to be in something that I could create on paper in 2D and then see it in real life in 3D. Like that was so impactful to me.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you. What about you? I know you didn't always know you want to be a manufacturing engineer. I got it right.
Love it.
But was there like something that you can recall as a kid or like when you got older that was like, yeah, this is the field I want to be a part of?
Yeah, so like when I was talking about, definitely nobody would have guessed that I would be an engineer, right? So like previously I talked about I was in the special English class because my reading levels were low. So like wasn't the brightest kid in the bunch. And so like I knew that. I didn't think I was really much of anything, to be honest. So once math got kind of introduced, once math started getting going, I don't know what grade it was, but whenever X enters your math class and you start to do really simple equations like, 1 plus X equals 5, solve for X equals 4, whatever.
Yeah.
That like blew my mind. I was like, oh wow, like it made perfect sense. I was like, okay, well, I'm good at math. And that was like the first time I was ever good at anything in school, right?
But that's awesome.
And so cut to high school. If you asked me if I was smart, I would have told you absolutely not. All my friends were like the smartest people in school. I thought I was absolutely nothing. I thought I was stupid. I was just happy to be in a regular English class by then. And like, I was so good at math in my math courses that like one time I missed a test and my teacher didn't even make me make it up. She was like, Lauren, you have 100%. I'm just going to give you an A. Like, she was like, you don't even need to take it again. Right? Or like if there was a student that was missing, my math teachers would ask me to teach that person whatever they missed the day prior.
Did you ever associate that with like you are now smart?
Absolutely not, no.
Interesting.
I was just good at regular math, which I didn't think was that hard.
Yeah.
So I didn't give myself any credit for that. Shout out to my sophomore math teacher, though, in high school, because she was like, Lauren, you need to do honors math. And I was like, are you sure about that? She was like, yep, you should do it. So I did. And I totally kept up, able to do that. So happy that she pushed me and recommended me for that. But
yeah,
the moment that really changed everything, sophomore year, I was in woodshop because I really liked working with my hands. I thought it would be fun. I ended up really loving it. My woodshop teacher legitimately like found me in the hallway one day, like sought me out and was like, hey, Lauren, we're doing this engineering program. I'm getting a group of all girls together to do this small engineering competition, and I want you to be in it.
That's amazing.
And I was like, haha, you're insane. What are you talking about? I was like, why? What?
Did you just not believe them, like that you weren't like qualified?
Yeah, I was like, excuse you, engineer what? Enjo what? What do you want me to do? I was like, no, I'm just in a wood shop. Like you measure stuff and you cut stuff. Like,
right. That's funny.
And my teacher was like, no, Lauren, like you're gonna do a really good job, and we have these other girls that have signed up too, and I want you to do it, and I think it'd be good. And I was like, okay, because I was a good student, I wasn't gonna like say no to a teacher, right?
Sure. But you had no idea that what it was about, right? Like you.
Yeah, and like, it really didn't even matter what it was about. It was a small engineering competition. It was a group. You had to solve this problem. You had to build this prototype of something to get something to do something, whatever. And we did the competition. It was fun. But really, it had nothing to do with that. It was the fact that this teacher, Mr. Green, looked out for me. He saw that inside of me. He saw that problem-solving thinking. He saw that I had that mindset that I could excel in his classes. So then after that competition, he was like, oh, next semester you're going to take my engineering class. And I was like, haha, no.
Amazing.
And he was like, no, I want you to sign up for it. I think it'd be good. Like,
that's
I think
awesome.
You'll like it. And then I had that same moment of like, wow, like I can draw something on 2D. I can see how it moves. I can create it in 3D. I can create it on a computer.
Yeah.
And that was like, everything changed after that.
Yeah, I think.
Absolutely. And I owe everything to that teacher for seeking me out. And I ended up being, in a part of different clubs and just continually pushing myself outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Until I was like, hey, like, I'm not the dumbest person in the room. Like,
no. Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'm good at this. I'm good at math. Like, and then you start to build that confidence because when you're young, we'll talk about this later, you're taught that you're not that smart or you're not good at this or you're not good at that.
Right. When you were done and Mr. Green showed you this course and you were able to see what you could do with your own brain, were you like, aha, this is it. Like, this is something that not only clicks with me, but I can now see what people are seeing in me.
I think it was an aha, as in like, I could be good at this. I was like, I need to know more about this. Mm-hmm. I was like, I want to take all the other classes available.
Yeah.
And also checking our privilege, we were so lucky that we went to a large school that had engineering classes, it had woodshop, it had architecture classes, it had art classes. And without that, I would absolutely not be an engineer 100%.
Yeah, it really makes you think inwardly and say, I am so grateful for the opportunities that I was given, not only by my school, but like, I'm so grateful that I'm a part of a community that offers these technology courses. We had that trade school course that people could go off campus, remember? I remember a good friend of ours, he went and learned how to be a paramedic. If we didn't have that opportunity, I don't think he would be a firefighter right now. If we didn't have these courses that we were taking, I don't think we'd be in the
grateful.
field. Oh my gosh. And I feel similar. I also had some teachers that, really impacted me, kind of like Mr. Green for you. Like VP was my dude who was like, Emma, like your brain works in a very special way. Come take this course. I never thought that I could ever think this way. I didn't realize that that challenging myself to see something in 2D to 3D in a software that wasn't typical math, science, English, history, it was something that was really thrilling for me. I looked forward to going to school.
Yeah.
It's
engaging.
It was engaging.
Because we had that mindset.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but like I was very grateful that VP was a kind of teacher that was a little hands-off. Like he introduced the course to us, he talked about the lesson of the day, and we learned the new software technologies, but like he would give us the sheet and be like, go figure it out. Like go mess with it, go, try to make the thing on the paper, and if you have problems, like raise your hand. But like use your brain and continually.
Yeah, you have to figure it out.
Yeah, you have to figure this out. Like this is your job, and like that's how I learned. Because of our 2-campus split situation, like who on the did you start at the original campus and the second campus, or like were you only at last couple years of school? Or
I took my woodshop class and got involved in the first engineering thing sophomore year.
Okay.
And then the rest of high school, I took all the other classes I could possibly take.
Yeah, same.
Even seeking out like extra things I could do.
Yeah.
And then I was a part of a robotics club, which I was totally scared to join. And Mr. Green was in charge of it, and I went to him and I was like, I'm thinking about joining it. He was like, good, I want you to join. And I was like, you do? I was like, there's no way, right? And so he was continually there through my senior year of like just having the confidence in me that I didn't have in myself.
That's awesome. I didn't go to competitions like that, but we did do architecture competitions. So I learned CAD early on, and I got to go with like my class of like a couple people who got chosen. We went and we competed against other schools to finish like a prompt. So like you were given a set of plans, for example,
That's
and you had to build the thing in a time limit, and you had to be quick and efficient, and like they didn't give you all the information, so you had to imply what was happening. I wasn't very good at it. I think I won maybe one award, but like I didn't think that I was cut out.
But it doesn't like
it wasn't important. That wasn't the important part.
It doesn't matter. It's the experience. No. It's the learning that you have that within you.
Yeah, and I think the cool part on top of that is learning.
Or rather, sorry to interrupt you, unlearning.
Oh yeah,
what you were brought up in.
Right, and to continue the unlearning thought, I thought architecture was all about building houses. Like I thought it only entailed making residential homes. So when I took all these courses, I was like, oh, wait a minute.
It's so much more.
It's so much more than this. And the information that I have to maintain, I'm a jack of all trades, dude. Like I have to learn structural, electrical, I have to learn how the plumbing operates. I have to learn not only what the building aesthetically looks like, but if it can physically endure those stressors. And weirdly enough, I loved those classes in school because they were like a puzzle to me. And even one of the classes that I did take, the first half of the course was we had to build a chair out of cardboard without using tape or glue or any sort of adhesive, and it had to be structurally sound for a person to sit on and use, and we had to create a desk as well.
That is so fun.
So I just loved it because it was like every day it was like, okay, how do we make this solid so that a body can sit on it and you're not crushed? And like there was like a limit test, like he had to be able to sit and like push himself onto it and then like lean on the desk really hard and make sure that like nothing fell off of it, and there was like a weight distribution too thing. What?
That's crazy.
I made the coolest chair ever. I have this picture of me sitting on it. It was like kind of leaned back and you could like kind of crouch your body on top of it. I don't know. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, but that moment was like, okay, I belong here. Because I was in band too, I played the tuba, if no one knows. And so I had like other creative outlets, but like this is the coursework that made me really work my brain to the max. And I loved being, and it was fun. It was so fun. I was so grateful that we had CAD too, like we had 3D.
Yes, absolutely.
3D CAD and CAD for, line work and whatever. But like learning all those commands early in school helped me in college and helped me now at my job. Advantage. Whoa, so cool. And it was cool. Sorry, I keep saying the word cool, but like I just thought I was the queen of the world. Like I could read plans. I could understand how things were put together. I could take things apart and put them back together and still know those layers. And then I was like, oh my gosh.
Of like using your brain in a different way than you ever have before and being good at it.
Yes.
Was not something I'd ever experienced before.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but like a lot of my friends took AP courses in high school and I never did. And I felt like an outsider because I felt really dumb. And my mom and my dad were like, you have always told us that you want to be well balanced. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You need to be someone that has good integrity. You need to work hard. You need to show up, right? So like I become a good socializer. I'm now a really good speaker. You might not hear that here, but I'm not afraid of crowds. And that was because architecture showed me how to use that side of my brain.
Yes, that's interesting.
It is kind of interesting, but I don't think I really was interested though in STEM and STEAM until college, because I think that's where I was really interested in
You made
learning.
that decision.
Yeah, that was when it was like a definitive time where I was focusing my energy on architecture, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Versus like high school, like you're still dealing with all the other social anxieties like boys and friend groups that are gossiping about people, and so like there wasn't like 100% of my time given to that.
So thinking about, we went to college, we did the thing.
Yeah.
We made it through with our degrees, right? When you look back, what do you feel? Do you feel like appreciation? Do you feel like...
What do you mean by appreciation?
Like to the teachers?
Oh, yeah. I don't think I could be in this position right now if I didn't have those mentors.
Oh, I 100% would not be an engineer if it wasn't for those teachers that helped me discover.
Yeah. And I'm like, I kind of want to shout someone out if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
I wrote this letter to the two teachers from our high school, and I kind of wanted to read it.
That's so fun. I have done that in the past, like when I went to college, when I graduated college. I have seen those teachers many, many times and thanked them many times and let them know that they're the reason that I am where I am.
I think the problem I had was not that I didn't want to write the letter sooner, or I tell them if I see them, like, thank you, like, look what I'm doing now with my life. But, as the years pushed on, it's not that I forgot about anybody. It's just I was so focused on trying to do better that it kind of slipped my brain, So I think if it's okay, I'm going to read this. And I would love for them to listen. Maybe if they get
Or you need to send it to them after.
We should send it to them. Okay, totally. Dear Mr. VP and Dr. K, I wanted to write you this letter to thank you for all the times you inspired me to continue in architecture. It's because of your integrity and your ability to see my potential I am where I am today. I wouldn't have gone on in high school without knowing that I had a great mentor like you to keep me encouraged and curious. It is essential to have teachers who looked past my gender and my skills to see what I could have become. I'm here today just to tell you that I got a bachelor's of science in architecture, a master's in architecture, a certificate in construction management, and now I have a job in architecture. Not only do I feel this in me and that this is a part of me, but I have now a firm that believes in me, and they are continuously teaching me how to become a great architect. And I'm thankful for you to get me here. It's because of you that I wanted to explore STEM outside of school. And when I was in graduate school, I really realized how important it was to focus my research on how to extend my knowledge to help young girls with all types of backgrounds to have a dream like mine to be in STEM. I found that your constant support pushed me to ask better questions. So I'm so grateful and thankful. So thank you for being a great teacher and a continuous mentor in my life. And I mean that to the fullest,
Oh, that's so sweet.
I never realized how essential they were because there was at no point when we were in school that either of them told me that I wasn't good enough.
Yeah, and in fact, they do the opposite. They're validators.
They're validators.
I can't tell you how many times I said, like, I don't know how to do that. I can't do that. And they were like, yeah, you can. Go figure it out. And I was like, oh, like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, and it's so empowering now, right? We did the school. We're doing the career to see those people as exactly who they were when we were in school, right? I would have never done this if someone didn't say, Emma, you should try the architecture program.
Honestly, I feel so, like, I don't want to say bad. It's so sad looking back how much I needed that.
Well, that's the best part about teachers.
Somebody to show me that I was smart. I didn't know. And girls right now, they just don't know.
They don't realize because
that's just crazy to me.
But like that's a huge shout out to teachers. Like, thank you to the
Oh my
teachers.
gosh, heroes. Thank you.
They're the ones that encourage,
literally changing lives every single day.
Every day. They encourage those little ones to push their limits and to see beyond what's in front of them, right? If someone didn't tell me that like the world outside of school is going to be better for me with all of my dreams, I would have said, you know, screw this. I'll just continue to do art because that just, I guess, makes sense.
I would have been like, oh, I'm good at math. Like, I'd be like an accountant right now. Or like, yeah, and I'd probably like it, but I wouldn't have this passion. I wouldn't have discovered this problem-solving brain of mine.
And I'm curious too. Well, I'm not really curious anymore. I'm mostly hopeful that there are people who understand the importance of a mentor and like what it meant for us to have someone that would encourage us so much every day about every little thing and kind of punch that negative voice out of our head. Like, you are good enough, Lauren. You can do this, Emma. You don't need to feel stupid and dumb.
Yeah.
Your brain is different.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this so much more, but like it's important to give back.
Absolutely. And it's important to reflect on the people who we should give back to, the organizations we should give back to, the resources and tools that we may not have known.
Or how now that we're out and now that we are living a professional career, how can we mentor? How can we engage girls in STEM? Because it is so important, and you know, we'll discuss those things in the future.
My hope for the two of us, because we have really spoke heavily about this in our own time, is that we find a way to get involved in the schools and show young girls what it's like to be a working woman in STEM and STEAM. And I don't know what that means, and I don't know what that is, but like, I just want to put that into the world and manifest it somehow, because I love reading about women, and I love reading about women who went above and beyond because they were passionate about something and they knew that this was a part of them. I don't know, but something about understanding that our environments and our background influenced us as people just makes me feel so good that there were teachers that I did like that actually did help me, because I was not a big fan of school all the time. And I know that's really hard for people to say out loud, because you don't want to hear that, you know, school sucks and school's not great, but it's like there's no way to go around it by not saying, you know what, I didn't want to go to school every day.
Yeah.
And
school
thank
is
God.
Hard. Education is great. Learning is great.
Knowledge is great.
School is hard.
School is hard.
I'm not an A student. I absolutely almost never have been. Like, it didn't come naturally to me.
Totally.
So when I had things that I excelled at and was good at, but then hey, you go to college and you go to engineering school and it's really, really hard. I'm not an A student.
I'm not a good
test taker, right? So getting through that too, and just not letting it define your worth.
Right. And I think that's something that maybe we could talk about when we really dive deep into what STEM is and what young girls need and what young boys need, is that they need people on their side to continually encourage them, but we need to somehow show that like anxiety-prone environments don't make us better learners. If anything, it makes us more inclined to quit. So you need to have that support system. And if you don't, like, this is the resources that I used. Here are some things that you can read if you're a parent that has a kid interested in these fields or even remotely close to it. These are the books that I read growing up and in college. You know what I mean? Like, anything that I can do to show young kids that this is where they want to put their brain, let's do it. You know? Is that crazy?
Absolutely not.
Okay, cool. That's my goal. But I think that kind of helps, right? That gives us a good enough background as to where we came from. And Lauren and I hope that like you have a good understanding and a summary of just who we are right now. But of course, you're going to learn more about us and why we are the way we are.
Yeah, I think it gives perspective, background. I think it gives us relatability.
Yes.
To say, yes, we are professional women in STEM/STEAM, but everybody has a journey of how they got there. And it's important for us to do outreach and lift up the coming generation.
I 100% agree with that.
It's important to appreciate the people that got you there and the support that you had along the way in that journey.
Yeah, and if you don't know what that means, sometimes that reflection can help encourage other people and actually encourage those people who helped you help others. So give back, say thank you, and always remember where you came from, I guess. I mean, that's how I think about it.
Yeah.
To each his own, obviously. I just want to say thank you again for everybody who's been listening.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Your input is great.
This has been another episode of The Oakview. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks again for listening to The Oakview. You can follow Lauren and Emma on Instagram at The Oakview Podcast, OAKVIEW, or email us at theoakviewpodcast@gmail.com.